So we had a very interesting week with the market. Misti itself has been up and down and all around. Stick around and we'll go over the chart, and we'll also update my position on Misti of where I'm at. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So YieldMax Misti went X on Thursday and paid on Friday. So we'll take a look at my position of where I'm at with Misti. We'll look at my distributions that I've earned, and we'll also take a look at the puts that I was able to roll to get a new average cost. We'll also take a look at the chart and see where Misti stands currently, if we're down or up. So let's just jump right on in. So let's just take a quick look at SPY right here, and as you can see, we did have a little bit of a green candle today. We had a red yesterday, but a green today. So hopefully we're trying to find a little stability, but it's still too early to say. And on Misti, you can see we never did have a full candle under our support line there. And as you can see, this green candle, it did touch that support line and then bounced off of it and went on up. So we ended up closing today at $19.88 on a Friday. Not too bad. I'd like to see it get back up to that $23, $24 area. But again, this market is just very unpredictable. But I was really glad to see that we did not break down below it and start trending down below that. For a candle that stretches across that support line is not a confirmed down candle. For me, a confirmed down trend or a downward movement would mean you would have a candle looks like this. So you would have something similar to say something more on the lines of a red candle like this, where it stretches under and does not touch that support line. If that candle stretches through it like that, if it's through it or even just touches it, right, then that is not a confirmed down movement or a confirmed downward movement. That candle, if it lives, opens and closes under that support, then you can consider that as a breakdown. Does not mean it won't stay down there. It could, or it could decide to come on back up with another candle, and we can get us another candle right here, and that one could be a green candle. So if you do not have one, and we do not have one that lives under that line yet, so we do not have a confirmed downward movement below our support yet. But we did receive our distributions, so we will get $1.3356 per share. So we'll go ahead and enter that into my spreadsheet, and we'll see where we're at now, or at least where I'm at on my position. Okay, so here we are on my stock tracker sheet here, and I'm using this one for Misti just to help track where I'm at, my average price per share, how many shares I have, and as I'm earning distributions and purchasing more stocks of this, that could get a little confusing of what your actual average is. So that is what I'm calling my adjusted price per share average over here. So as I am earning distributions and as I'm earning premium, that is going toward my capital that I have invested, and therefore giving me a new dollar per share at risk capital, right? So let's just go ahead and enter in my entries here. So I know a lot of you were able to buy some shares probably in the maybe $17, $18, or even $19 area, but I was not as lucky. I had a buy limit of 7 shares at $20 around the 1st of April. And of course, when it fell, it executed that, and I bought those shares at $20, which I'm okay with, but I just hate that I missed out on that possible buy points of $17 and $18. So let's just go ahead and enter in what I have here. So on April the 3rd of 2025, I got a $20 buy price, and I purchased 7 shares. So again, not the best possible buy point, but that is what I have. So that has raised up my average or adjusted average price per share, and that's just simply because now I have invested more capital, but I have not entered in my distributions, so therefore that adjusted price per share has increased slightly, and it has now went up to $8.47 per share is my adjusted price per share average. But we have not entered in our distributions. So let's do that. So on April the 11th of 2025, which is Friday, we earned a distribution or paid a distribution of 1.3356. That is what was announced per share for the distribution. Now, do I earn the full 390 shares for that distribution? If the pay date was April 11th, that means the X date was April 10th. I have to own those shares before April 10th. Well, I purchased those 7 shares over here at $20 on April 3rd. So yes, my last purchase was within that limitation, and therefore I will earn that $1.3356 for all 390 shares. So I can take that number, take it times the 390, and that's going to give me what I will earn in distributions. So as you can see here, that $8 and it was roughly $8.50 now has dropped down to $7.14. So I'm lowering that cost. That's my goal here, is to get this down to 0, and then everything that I earn in distributions is free and clear. But I'm not done yet. I had 2 puts over here. This one here was to expire on the 11th, Friday. So if I didn't roll that, I was going to get assigned those shares at $23.50. At the time, that was a good price. Well, now it's $19.88. So I would prefer to be able to roll this down a little bit. And by doing so, I will earn some premium. So for this one here, the April 11th, that was a $23.50 put. And I had one of those. And I rolled that down and out. So down in price and out in expiration. So on April the 9th, 2025, I rolled it out to an expiration of July 18th. So 7/18/2025. So I rolled it from April out to July, and I rolled that $23.50, rolled it to an even $22 roll, and that was a put, and it was one of those. Now, what did I earn for that? Well, for rolling that put, I earned a total of $1.40. Now that's $1.40 per share, and each contract is 100 shares. So therefore, I earned on that roll $140. So I not only rolled it down from $23.50 at risk, I rolled it down to $22 at risk put that I sold, and I earned that $1.40 per share times 100 shares, $140. So I earned that $140. Now I do have to pay a transaction fee, and with Webull it only cost me 16 cents to do so. So that means I have just earned $139.84 to roll that $23.50 put down to $22. So in my account, instead of them withholding $2,350, because that's $23.50 per share times 100 shares, so I have capital locked up of $2,350. So by rolling it down to $22, they now have released an additional $150 back into my cash account, right? Because now I only have $22 per share that's being held to cover this put. And $22 times 100 shares is $2,200. So that put $150 back into my cash account. Plus, I earned $139.84 after my transaction fee. So all in all, $150 for rolling it down, right? That released back into my cash account. So I was able to recapture $150 of that price by rolling it down. And I got paid a premium of $139.84 after my transaction fee. So just in that transaction alone, it earned me additional $289.84 just for selling the put and rolling it down. And that's after my transaction fee. So not too shabby there. So what I'll do here is I will strike through that part of it because that is the old one, but it helps me track what connects to what, right? So this 2350 here, now this whole thing is done for. That contract has been bought back and then resold here for this contract. So since this one is done, I can cross that one out. I don't cross out the money because I've already captured the money. Once I sell a put, I earn that premium. It goes directly straight into my account. I do not have to give that back. That is mine to keep no matter what. All right, so that one is closed out. So now I had one that was to expire on April 17th. So I still had some time to take before rolling this one, but I went ahead and rolled it out anyway. So I rolled it down in price and out in expiration as well. So on April 7th, 2025, I rolled the $23 put that I had sold. I rolled it down and out. The date that I rolled it out to was again July 18th of 2025. Okay, so this one's rolled out to that same date as well. And I usually try to roll them out to the third Friday of the month because that's when a lot of the institutions do a lot of their option plays, monthly plays. So you have a lot more open interest in it and you can possibly get filled easier on those days. So I rolled this one from $23, as you can see here, my old one at $23. So $23, and I rolled it to $20. That's a heck of a roll, right? Wow. And that's another put that I bought. So I rolled that put down to $20. That's $300 back into my pocket. So that $23, I had $2,300 tied up. Now I only have $2,000 tied up. That $23 is the price that I was agreeing to buy the shares at. Is now I am willing to buy them at $20. Well, guess what? Misti is right there at $20. So this one here is looking really good, right? Now, what did I earn for this one? Now, I didn't earn the $140 for this one because I rolled it down $3 versus rolling it down $1.50, right? So the more I rolled it down, the less premium I'm going to earn. But I was working trying to get that price of that put down. So by doing that, I earned $55 to roll that down. That's still some good premium to roll it out till July and down $300 or $3 per share. That's really good. But of course, I still had to pay my transaction fee. So that transaction fee on this one was 15 cents. So that's $55 that I earned because that's 55 cents times 100 shares is $55 minus my 15 cents. Boom. There we go. $54.85 that I made on that roll. Not too shabby. And I rolled it down $3. So that's $300 back into my pocket. And I earned $54 for doing it. So out of that trade, I earned $354. And now I have a put that I sold now at $20. I like it. And by doing all of this, of course, I'm able to lower my adjusted price per share. So I'm down to $6.64 per share on average now, with a total invested capital, adjusted invested capital of $2,500 versus my original capital that I had invested of $9,800. So I'm whittling away at that. My distributions earned of $6,500, and I've earned premium of $679.09 total. So all of that calculated together, subtracted from my total capital that I have invested, gives me my adjusted capital invested, and therefore that divided by the number of shares I have gives me $6.64 per share adjusted price per share average. Not too bad at all. So what that means is if I was to sell my shares right now at the current price, I will gain $5,000. So I'll sell them at the amount that I have invested. So I'll get the $9,800 of capital back, and I'll also earn $5,100 in gains. So as I said, that amount that I will actually earn there is $5,164.62 on top of my invested capital. Now, to prove that, all I have to do is easily take and do this simple math right here and say I have 390 shares. So rather than do that, we'll actually type it in. So I have 390 shares times the current price being 19.88. Okay, and then I need to add back in my distributions that I have earned and my premiums that I have earned. So plus my distributions of 65.96 plus my premium that I've earned of 679.09, and that's going to equal $14,998.25. So just to double check that, I can easily say that my invested capital, because if I'm saying I'm going to get all my capital back selling the shares at the current price, plus my earnings is the $14,998.25. So the two match. So that's what this number here is. That's how much above my capital that I'm actually would earn if I were to sell my shares. But I'm not going to sell my shares because right now my adjusted capital per share is dropping as I'm earning distributions and selling and getting premium. So if I can get this down to zero, then this number over here eventually will be the same as my capital invested, and then will grow above that. And at that point, I will be 100% paid off on Misti, earning distributions free and clear, and using the future distributions to do whatever I want to with. If I wanted to buy more Misti, or if I wanted to buy another stock, or anything like that. Now, that's not the probably fastest way to build your portfolio of Misti, but it's how I'm doing it. I'm just playing a bit more safer, and I would much rather get to the point where Misti will pay me to buy more Misti. So I hope that all makes sense. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button. It'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.